we do shadow boxing as part of proficiency for Muay Thai and Muay Boran. It can be very meditative, but it can also be something that really takes you to the next level. Shadow boxing, that is an essential part of Muay Thai and Muay Boran, and that is something that we constantly do as pre-warm-up before we start hitting the mitts, hitting the pads, hitting the bags, partner drills, and so on. And it's a great way to warm up the body. It is the equivalent of, with some styles, when they do forms, we do shadow boxing. When you're starting off with doing shadow boxing, you could keep it simple. Just start working punches, a whole lot of punches really, to warm the body up. And then you can slowly work in your lower body strikes, such as your knees and your kicks, a lot of push kicks, round kicks, and just keeping the balance. A lot of times you can also be on your toes, depending on what you're doing. If you're kicking or you're punching, it's just a way to really work your hips and your shoulders and keep the momentum, proper form. It's important to understand that everybody has their own way of shadow boxing. Though it does look familiar in terms of, especially when you do like Muay Thai, shadow boxing looks familiar, but because we are all different, we have different body types, different go-to moves, different ways of punching and kicking. There are still subtle differences, and so we don't compare our shadow boxing to anybody else. We just sort of work our own stuff, So when we do shadow boxing, everyone has their own way of moving, warming up, throwing punches, kicks, knees, elbows, and just flowing. Because the trick is really about flow. That's really what we're working on. If you notice from the beginning and now, when we do a lot of shadow boxing, we like to do it without the lights on, and when everything's quiet. When studio, there's nobody around. It's sort of the meditation mode of doing shadow boxing, because you could kind of just focus on yourself when you're doing it on your own. Physical meditation, a meditation of movement, meditation of martial art, of flow, of working your body and just moving how you want to move, and proficiency of movement. That's how we do shadow boxing, and that is why we do it without the lights on and when nobody's around. But now obviously you can also shadow box when there's people around, or when there's lights on, when just right before you hit the bags, hit the mitts, sparring. That's fine too. We do shadow boxing as often as we can as part of, well, you could say a routine, but it's as part of our way to meditate with our bodies. The The essentials of shadowboxing is really about, again, movement of body weapons, but there's also footwork, and footwork not in a complicated sense, but just in a way where you know how to pivot, know how to turn, know when to be on your toes, putting it together when you throw, say, a right cross, a hook, uppercut, a knee, an elbow, kicks. The idea of making things natural for yourself, you know, as you throw techniques. And remember that when you do your strikes, it's not just about being offensive or always attacking, although to a great extent that is what you will see with shadowboxing. We also would like to work a great deal of defensive things. We add in there like blocking and leg checks and so on. So it's really just putting together your main weapons, as well as adding one or two that maybe you would like to work on. For instance, maybe if you want to add a specific elbow or a specific combination, you can add those when you do your shadowboxing. Making things second nature. It's a conditioned response, and that's why Muay Thai and Muay Boran is very effective, because if you practice it to be a part of your body, to be just second nature, then it'll just come out without you having to think about it. That's really the goal too. And so while shadowboxing serves many purposes, it is also part of the training routine of getting your body proficient with your techniques or your moves, your go-tos and so on. That's a big part of why you do shadowboxing.